Hey everyone, let's continue reading our journey through my book, Analyzing 59 Classic Films. And let's move to chapter 2, shall we? And that is The Grimm Game from 1919. There are certain genres of movies in which viewers care more about certain scenes than the whole plot. Even though movies cannot really exist without a plot, sometimes it plays second fiddle to the characters or memorable scenes. People want to see intense fights and things getting blown up in action flicks. They want to hear catchy songs that they can remember in musicals. They want to be on the edge of their seats when watching a horror film until it reaches an apex and they shriek in fear. In the 1919 silent film The Grimm Game, it is about a newspaper company that tries to survive by staging the murder of a wealthy man. The plan is to bring him back safely, and the Daily Call will stay in business by having the inside scoop on the story. But greed, personal interests, and betrayal get in the way, causing the original plan to go awry. Sounds like an intriguing plot, right? But most people watching the film want to see tricks and stunts by legendary magician Harry Houdini. He stars as reporter Harvey Hanford, who winds up arrested for the murder. The film was thought to have been lost for decades. Thankfully, it was located, restored, and premiered to a new generation of fans in 2015. This is the second of 5 feature films Houdini starred in. Like this one, his characters in the 3 subsequent films have the initials HH. It is different how there are no opening credits showing the actors and characters they play. Instead, when a character is introduced in the written narration, the actor's name is underlined and italicized after the sentence. One actor is an older man named Thomas Jefferson, which could make some do a double take. Then it should be realized that the U.S. president of the same name died nearly 100 years earlier. The film must have had a hefty budget for its time due to the various locations and daring stunt scenes. It is easy to dismiss silent film actors as being deficient because they were part of a bygone era when their voices were not heard on film. But silent film stars had a tough job as they had to convey much of the information through their body language and facial expressions. They had to feed off of one another much more than actors today do. Houdini and his counterparts did a very nice job. It is notable how the slogan of the newspaper, "The only paper delivered by air," foreshadows the spectacular ending. It is amazing how much the dissemination of information has changed since this film, and that newspapers are no longer king of the media. Houdini does some simpler tricks in the first part of the film, including escaping from a pair of handcuffs and opening a large door with string. When he puts his hands up to surrender to someone with a rifle, a small pistol shoots up his sleeve and into his hand, allowing him to turn the tables on the aggressor. Houdini is later shackled from neck to toes in heavy chains in a jail cell. Not only does he get out of that constraint, but he goes out the window and traverses down the tall building with the aid of a rope. Houdini must have been in good physical shape as he runs a lot and tries to evade his captors, even as a large group of them have hold of him. A dangerous-looking stunt occurs when Houdini is in a straitjacket and dangles upside down from a rooftop several stories high. As expected, he escapes and plummets towards the ground. It does not show what may have braced his fall, as the landing was out of the camera's view. He is later hooked up in the woods to what looks like to be a bear trap. Houdini also utilizes a trapdoor in the floor of a cabin to escape a man he was quarreling with. The final scene sets the bar high for modern-day daredevils as Houdini climbs down a rope from one flying plane and he slowly makes his way into the other plane. Not only is this feat breathtaking, but the two people flying planes also deserve a lot of credit as the planes were unbelievably close in the air. I wonder what the FAA would have to say about that. The word queer was used in place of strange, aeroplane instead of airplane, and papers instead of money, which are just more examples of how language changes over time. Miser and skinflint are semi-archaic words that were used to describe a cheap person, and spendthrift is used to mean someone who spends too much money. Tidings is another word that most people do not see often today unless you are singing a Christmas song. I also had never heard the word alienist to mean a psychiatrist until this film. Houdini is more of a legend than a person to most people. So it is amazing to be able to see the actual man on film. This film being rediscovered exposes the genius of Houdini to audiences who are used to modern magicians like David Blaine or Penn and Teller. And if you are still wondering about the plot, the real killer gets caught and Houdini gets the girl in the end. I guess some things in Hollywood never change. But the way Houdini gets there is unlike how anyone else could do it. His character gets thrown under the bus more than once. Even if he was literally thrown under a bus, you know he would find a way out. I gave this film 2.75 out of 4 stars. Hope you enjoyed the analysis. Please leave any comments, and until next time.